See, 2008 global financial crisis. It came out from where? US. It is there in the list. 2011 European Union crisis. Again, it came out from where? Europe. It is there in the list. 2015 China slowdown. It came from China. It is there in the list. And 2020 COVID-19. Again, it has come from China, which is the main source of this virus. And again, it appears in the list. So what I'm trying to highlight, friends, is that whenever you are studying world economy or global stock markets, please understand that these four economies have to be studied very well. US, Europe, China, and Japan. If these four economies are doing well, yes, then the world will relatively be a good place to live and stock markets will perform. But if there is a problem in either of these economies, then definitely the world economy will have a problem and Indian economy will also be under pressure. So this basically we have to, friends, keep it in mind that these four economies are basically the pillars of the world economy. Now, as far as India is concerned, if you see basically right now, the world economy is also under tenterhooks for the simple reason, friends, that because of this lockdown situation, the world GDP may be even 1% or even lesser than that. For the simple reason that no major business activity is taking place due to lockdown. Everywhere there are job cuts. Even today, if you today morning, if you hear Boeing, which is one of the largest airlines companies in the world, it has decided to remove 12,000 people. So you can understand, friends, that the kind of problems this slowdown or this COVID-19 will create on the economies. Because if economies don't work, how will we sustain? How will demand and consumption get created? So that is why globally also, if you take, friends, the central banks have already started taking coordinated action. For example, if you see, all major central banks in the world have reduced their interest rates drastically. In fact, US economy, US Federal Reserve has decided to print 3 trillion US dollars, the highest ever in the history of US Senate, 3 trillion US dollars for revival of the economy. And I'm very sure that finally this money, which they have been printing, will go through from their banks to the FIIs, foreign institutional investors, and that money will ultimately surely come into emerging stock markets like India and other economies. So they will surely come into our markets also. So this is something we have to, friends, keep it in mind. When they are basically investing in our economy, when they are investing, when the FIIs will invest in our economy, that is stock market, the stock markets will have a rebound very quickly. So as far as economy is concerned, now, friends, we are relatively better. But yes, we have our own huge challenges. Like, for example, we have seen that in this lockdown, migrant laborers. Now, that is a huge challenge for entire India, friends. We have 8 crore migrant laborers who have basically gone to their home states. Now, the key question will come that how to bring them back and how to ensure that these people are able to start doing their business again, or they start working in their factories again. This is something very vital we will have to look into, especially into the manufacturing side like automobiles, and especially automobile segment and others, which are largest employment creators. Without workers, how can production plants start? And if the production plant doesn't start, obviously things won't come on track. So this is something we will have to, friends, keep it in mind. The 20 lakh crore rupees package which the government has announced, to be very frank, it has its own limitations. And on a personal level, I was shocked to see that there was no facility given to a salaried person who is actually contributing tax on behalf of all others. See, basically, there have been a lot of things announced for farmers, migrant laborers, street vendors, that is the Lari Galla people, and other sections which are economically very weak. But what about salaried class who is regularly contributing through TDS payments, through income tax payments? So no, unfortunately, benefit has come to them. Uh, Ma'am, I'll just take this call. A call is coming. Just give me
Please.
1 minute. Hello, hello. Yes, sir. हाँ बोल रहा हूँ सर, कहिए ना. हाँ हाँ बोलिए. सर, इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी सबकी रिन्यू हो जाएगी. वो एक्सचेंज ऑटो जनरेटेड मेल डाल रहा है, उसकी आप फिक्र मत करिए. इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी इज ऑलरेडी बीन गिवन टू द एक्सचेंज और वो 2-3 दिन में अपलोड हो जाएगी. वो लोग बेसिकली इस लॉकडाउन की वजह से है ना, और प्लस उनको आईटी का कोई इश्यू है, तो दे विल सॉर्ट इट आउट. आप फिक्र मत करिए. वी हैव ऑलरेडी सबमिटेड द पॉलिसी. हाँ सर, हम सारे एक्सचेंजेस को भेजते हैं. व्हेनेवर वी गेट पॉलिसी वी सेंड इट टू ऑल एक्सचेंजेस. So that will be done. प्रीमियम का पेमेंट आपको बेसिकली आपको लिंक आया होगा, मेल आया होगा, आपको मेल पे जाके रजिस्टर करना है और आपका प्रीमियम पे करना है। ऑनलाइन ही है इस बार पूरा। हाँ तो हाँ, हाँ तो कोई बात नहीं, आप ऑलरेडी रजिस्टर है तो बस आपको सिर्फ पे करना है, फिर दैट मीन्स आपने रजिस्ट्रेशन कर दिया है। हाँ तो पे में आप सिंपल क्या करिए ना, आपका ईमेल आईडी मुझे भेजिए, मैं 1 घंटे में आपको बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल्स भेजता हूँ, उसमें आप एनईएफटी करवा दीजिए। आप मुझे ये ऑनलाइन होगा ना, ऑनलाइन भी हो सकता है एनईएफटी ऑनलाइन व्हाटएवर। हाँ हाँ, नहीं 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 सर, ऐसे नहीं, आप मुझे ये नंबर, ये मेरा मोबाइल नंबर है, इस पे एसएमएस कर दीजिए, व्हाट्सअप कर दीजिए। हाँ हाँ, थैंक यू। Yes, sorry friends. So basically in this 20 lakh crore rupees of package, na, if you see, we will take certain instances. For example, number one, 3 lakh crore rupees have been allocated as collateral free loans to small medium enterprise. 3 lakh crore rupees of loan to small medium enterprise. Now in India, there are 6 crore 54 lakh SMEs, but this benefit of 3 lakh crore will be available to only 45 lakh SMEs who are above having a turnover of 100 crores. So you have to understand that basically in this situation, number one, will SMEs will take loan? Number one, that is the biggest question. Second, even if they take loan, my friends, trust me, they will use that money for liquidity purpose. Right now, they don't have liquidity. So this money finally will not come back to the banks. It's a clear indicator. And when government is giving the counter guarantee, this money will go down the drain and it will nothing happen but add to the fiscal deficit of the government where expenditure was made, but without any productive output out of that. Second example, if you take basically 90,000 crore rupees have been allocated to power distribution companies. Now, power distribution companies are already in a big mess. Power distribution companies are in huge mess. Basically, their balance sheets are very big. Now, in that case, if you are giving them another 90,000 crore, and that is ultimately taxpayers' hard-earned money, what kind of message are we passing on to them? Is there any return on equity on this capital? Frankly speaking, I have my own doubts that whether we'll be able to generate any meaningful money out of them. Third, if you see, we have basically opened the defense sector production FDI from 49% to 74%. Now, here also, friends, it is very vital that when you are opening a key sector like defense, the contract should be given only to those private companies who have a very clean track record in terms of corporate governance and who have domain knowledge. Last time, Reliance Defense and Power was given a contract of Rafale, and we know what mess it created controversy. And when it acquired Pipavav Defense, the stock was at 62 rupees, it came down to 10 rupees. So there was a complete destruction of wealth from shareholders' viewpoint also. Then if you take something like Manrega, in Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, earlier 60,000 crores were allocated and additional 40,000 crore have been allocated for basically the migrant workers. But there also, if you see that scheme has always been grossly misutilized, and in that particular scheme, the main problem is that ultimately laborers get enrolled in that scheme and they use that money basically. They will use that money they will use that money for generation or for drinking liquor and other things, but they do not use it for the activity, that is the employment guarantee which they have been given. In Andhra Pradesh, there was a case study that in one village, 15,000 crore rupees of liquor was consumed out of the distributions made under the Manrega scheme. So this was published in Economic Times. So what I'm just trying to highlight here is that these are all the measures which have been announced are good per se, but ultimately their execution will depend on their success will depend on their execution. Rather, what I suggest, what I feel that would have been better, that direct cash transfer in all Jan Dhan accounts. See, today in this lockdown, what is the major issue which has been highlighted? That laborers had to walk barefoot on highways without food, water, scorching heat, and then there was a lot of politicizing on these matters, and ultimately we had to run 200 special trains to send them back to their base. See why all this mess happened? Because we never created a proper social infrastructure for them. So the need of the hour is that basically if these laborers are given proper employment letters, at least their minimum wages are formed, and they should be given one labor card which is valid pan India. At least now the government has come up with the concept of one nation, one ration card. So in this particular situation, the things will get sorted out and laborers will also feel safety. Otherwise, this time, friends, what will happen? Na? That even if the lockdown ends and things come to normalcy, I don't think that laborers will have courage enough to go back to their places and again do this work, because the way they have been treated, it really creates a huge, I think, a dangerous situation, socially, and law and order also. It will create a problem. So here, when reforms have been announced, we have to understand that the best option in this current scenario, and to push even to make lockdown a success. See, people need money in their hands. The best option to transfer money was directly give cash transfers to all the Jan Dhan accounts, so that basically they are relatively they are having cash, they are able to spend their cash, and that creates demand and consumption in the economy. Plus, to be very frank, friends, what I feel, even at the corporate side, corporates should understand that they should not remove people, reduce salaries in this kind of a situation, for the simple reason that, see, up till March 20, all companies were working, profits were taking place. It was only that April and May, there was no income. Agreed. But then what about the risk companies have made in the last so many years? So can't these companies basically ensure that 5 months, basically 5 months, we are able to take care of this, our employees and other things? See, this is the time where profits are not at the center. Jack Ma, which is one of the world's very famous personality and an investor, what has Jack Ma said? You'll be surprised, friends, that in 2020, if you are alive, I'll repeat his words because it was really touching. He has said that in 2020, if you are alive, that is your biggest achievement. So we have to understand the gravity of this COVID-19 problem, rather than in this situation, the corporates trying to find out what profit and loss they are making and removing employees. That is very pathetic. That if we cannot protect our employees in the times of need, then why would employees basically work for the corporates? Clear. So this is something what I very personally feel. Apart from this, one interesting thing about world economy, friends, and I don't know why our government or RBI is taking a slightly, what I can say, basically a conservative view. See, if you take US economy, what US is doing, US is just printing dollars, and it is very confident that we will print dollars and do whatever is possible to revive demand and consumption in the economy. So they are not worried about this fiscal deficit concern and other things. Whereas as far as we are concerned, we are busy nagging with the fiscal deficit numbers, that what will happen if fiscal deficit goes up, what will happen is if foreign rating agencies downgrade us. Frankly speaking, friends, the need of the hour is that we need to print more money, and we need to circulate that money in the hands of the needy and the poor section, so that they are able to survive in this time of crisis, number one. And second, basically, when they spend money, that will automatically create demand and consumption in the economy. So that is what the need of the hour is. See, when we are telling, in the sense, when the government is telling to the people that please remain inside. So just give me 1 second. 1 second. Hello. गुड आफ्टरनून मैम, कहिए ना. हाँ, बोल रहा हूँ मैम. हाँ, बोलिए. बीएससी का. नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो सी आप फिक्र मत करिए. आप लोगों ने मेंबरशिप फीस भरी है, पॉलिसीज आके हमने एक्सचेंज को भेज भी दी है. वो सिर्फ ऑटो जनरेटेड ईमेल है, सो यू डोंट रिएक्ट टू दैट. इट्स जस्ट एन ऑटो जनरेटेड मेल. हाँ, तो मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, वो एक्सचेंज ऑटो जनरेटेड मेल है एक्सचेंज का. आपने मेंबर नहीं नहीं, हमसे नहीं आएगा मैडम. हमसे तो रिमाइंडर, इट्स जस्ट अ रिक्वेस्ट. वो क्या हुआ कि हम डेटाबेस कंपाइल कर रहे हैं ना, तो इसलिए वो शायद रिपीट हुआ होगा. सो डोंट वरी. ठीक है. नहीं, वो तो नहीं 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 नहीं, हमने ऑलरेडी एक्सचेंज को भेज दिया है. वी हैव ऑलरेडी सेंड इट टू द एक्सचेंज. हाँ, तो वो भेज दी, इसको एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए अप्रूवल चाहिए. सो दैट प्रोसेस तो हो जाएगा, टेंशन. नहीं नहीं नहीं, कुछ नहीं करना, वही तो बोल रहा हूँ आपको. ठीक है, चलिए, थैंक यू. Sir, just give me 1 second, ma'am. Just give me 1 second. I'll just finish. खान साहब, हाँ, मैं वेबिनार में हूँ. मैं अभी आपको आधे घंटे में करता हूँ. मुझे 2-3 काम भी थे, मैं आपको करता हूँ. श्योर श्योर. Yes, extremely sorry. Actually, what has happened that in the exchange that brokers renewal work is going on, and everywhere my mobile number has been given, so those calls are coming. Uh, Yes. See, basically, what we were discussing was when the government is asking laborers or even everybody to stay in home to ensure that the lockdown is a success. See, basically, when a person's income is not there, he needs cash to survive. So the best option could have been that basically government could have transferred direct cash into the Jan Dhan accounts, because Jan Dhan accounts were opened of the needy and the poor class. So when they have got cash, they will definitely remain in home and they will support the lockdown. See why people are coming out, because they don't have enough money to survive, and as a result basically they are forced to come out and find some alternatives. So this is something which we need to look at. If you see even USA, what USA has done, USA has transferred $1,200 in the direct accounts of the people, not $1,200 in directly in the bank accounts of people who are bachelors, and the people with family they have transferred $2,400. This is real something. Then in France, what France has done, France has transferred 9,000 euros in all small companies' bank accounts, directly 9,000 euros from the government side to all smaller companies. See, this is actually the need of the our friends. Rather than we are basically giving them suggestions. Now you only say that in this lockdown, when there is no certainty about the future there is no income surety. Why would a street vendor go and take a loan of 10,000 rupees, and who will process his loan in this situation? So basically, just by announcing that we have announced 50 lakh this thing 50 lakh rupees loan for street vendors, and they can easily go and opt for loan, they can start their business. These are all theories which are comfortable in hearing, but not a practical solution. So basically, if we want to solve this problem from the grassroots level, we have to understand that primarily it is very very important that we understand the grassroots level situation, and cash is transferred in the hands of the people, so that will ensure that they are able to survive this downturn. Otherwise you will see friends that the kind of unemployment is getting created, it will push the economy into a recessionary kind of situation. See, we were able to basically survive 2008, 2011, 2015, all these downturns, because that time people were working, people were spending money. This is a pandemic. Pandemic happens around every 100 years. If you see historical framework, in the last 400 years, four pandemics have taken place. First was in 1720, then in 1820, in 1920 there was Spanish flu. In that around 5 crore people globally had died, and that pandemic also lasted for 2 years. So as far as this virus is concerned, my friends, it is something that it will get cured in a month or two. Trust me, the entire 2020 will go with this virus only. And what even government is thinking, that there is something known as herd immunity. Herd immunity means what? Okay, when large number of people get affected, now ultimately antibodies start developing in people. So ultimately, what will happen? The effect of this virus becomes nullified. So even if a person is infected, the virus is unable to harm him, and the person will also not be in a position to spread that infection. So that is called as herd immunity. And a country like Sweden, which is obviously a very small country having a population of 10 lakhs, they did not go for any lockdown, but they followed the social distancing, and gradually they have developed this herd immunity. So what I'm trying to tell is that if you see even last couple of days, last for the 4 consecutive days, the death toll in USA has basically come down to 700 which per day, which was earlier 2000 plus per day. So if you see Europe and US, there has been a gradual decline in the number of new cases coming for infection, and at the same time the deaths which have been reported. So broadly speaking, over a period of time, what we will find that in June, July, what I feel that we will hit a top, that is the virus infections, and then we will gradually see that this virus basically goes down. The number of people getting infected goes down, and ultimately we will have to bring the economy back on track, because lockdown is just buying time. It is not a solution, especially in a country like India, where we don't have any social security for the people. See, if you take US, Europe, Japan, there is large amount of social security given to the people, so they are able to survive it very well. India, unfortunately, those are not the cases. And another thing, friends, that you will find that during this lockdown and this entire thing, government report says that there are 63 crore laborers in India. So you can understand the kind of lower segment population we have. Even I was surprised to see that number. That's such a huge number of laborers which we have in India. Then obviously our dynamics, our way of handling this crisis will have to be different as compared to other countries, because other countries have two major benefits. Number one, less population and qualified people. See, I have been to 15 countries. If you ask me in one line why they are ahead of us, there is only one sentence: is less people, qualified people. Whereas in India, we have both these, unfortunately, on the reverse side. 137 crore people, 50% uneducated, unemployed. So obviously, how will you fight this battle? So that is why it is a bitter truth, but it's a fact, friends, that the kind of population dynamics we have, it is really a challenging thing. It is not at all that easy, and that is why we have to understand that, broadly speaking, unless we do things for the at the grassroots level, we won't be able to come out of this particular mess. So this is something we have to understand. Apart from these, friends, see, one thing is that as far as monetary policy and banks are concerned, see, the way the RBI has reduced interest rates, they have drastically reduced the interest rates, and the repo rate is now at 4%. Frankly speaking, I don't now see any room for repo rate reduction. We have reduced interest rates drastically, but even then, the challenging part is that the loan demand has not gone up, because people are not confident to take loan in this dangerous situation. See, no salaried person, no corporates wants to have leverage on their head. See, if you take a loan in this situation, and if God forbidden something happens to your job and other things, you are bound to get trapped in this particular situation. So that is why one has to understand that as far as loan is concerned, you should always avoid leverage capital, friends. It is a humble request that even when you invest, say tomorrow I'll be taking up that in this pandemic, how can we create a portfolio and how can we invest in the tomorrow's session. So that time I'll be highlighting, but just one simple caveat at this point of time: please avoid personal loans, please avoid credit cards. And whenever you are investing in a company, the single factor, the most important factor is that company should have a zero debt equity ratio. Always try to buy a company which is either having a zero debt equity ratio or basically a very negligible debt. Because in this slowdown in pandemic, those companies which have leverage, or a person who has loan on his head, the chances of his becoming a fatality is much more higher than a person who doesn't have leverage on his head. So this point you will have to please keep it in mind. Clear about this? Yes. Can we take questions? Okay, can we take questions so that I can still elaborate on their doubts, difficulties?
Yes, actually. Shukla sir. Shukla sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir says you can handle some questions also at the moment. So if you have any questions lined up, please start asking the question.
Dear participants, if you have any question, please ask in the chat box. Dear participants, if you have any question, please ask in the chat box.
Any questions already lined up? I have seen some of them already here. Please.
Yes, may I go
There is one
ahead,
question
move
like
ahead?
Yes, Ania,
So
start.
plus, there is one
Yes.
question from Dr. Abhay Sawant. Aditya sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Please go
Yeah.
ahead. Yes.
Yes.
So Dr. Abhay Sawant is asking, sir, in case of companies are not ready to pay salary, can't government take action against them?
See, basically, unfortunately, what has happened now, originally government had told to all the private sector and public sector companies not to reduce salaries, not to remove employees. But this was in the form of an advisory note. Now, unfortunately, what has happened? Somebody has raised a PIL in the Supreme Court that how can government force private companies to pay full wages when there are no business. So in that particular case, this stand of the government has also been diluted. But frankly speaking, in this kind of situation, government should have taken a strong stand, because if you see September 2019, the corporate tax on the companies have been reduced from 30% to 22%. So automatically they are earning a lot of profits. Actually, to be very frank, even I was surprised that a company like Reliance Industries is telling that we will pay only 50% salary.
Correct.
So that was actually surprising. Okay, then what about the that mammoth profit that you are earning till last quarter? You cannot survive one quarter. So actually, it is not something correct. The company should have been made to pay full salaries to all employees, especially during this time where people need money to survive and sustain. But it is very unfortunate that even government has diluted their stand. Yes, ma'am. Next question.
Okay. There are many questions regarding small scale industries, Aditya
Yes.
sir, and their future.
Yes, I could also see that. Sure.
Yeah.
See, basically, in India, there are 6 crore 54 lakh small scale industries, 6 crore 54 lakhs. Now SME, small scale industries, they contribute 45% in India's exports and 40% in the total production. So obviously they are the backbone of Indian economy. But it is very, what I can say now, heart paining that basically they are left to their mercy. And even though these liquidity measures, so-called liquidity measures have been announced, how far these measures will actually reach them will always be a question mark. So this is something we will have to keep it in mind. Clear? We will have to keep it in mind that how far these liquidity measures are able to reach them to the SMEs. Say for example, government said that 3 lakh crore rupees of collateral-free loans will be available, but it is applicable to only those SMEs who have a turnover of above 100 crores. So only out of 6 crore 54 lakh SMEs, only 45 lakh SMEs will benefit out of it. So one thing is very sure that this is a segment that needs to be addressed very quickly. Now it is unfortunate that the government is trying to address this concern at the time of pandemic. See, it has been since last 4 to 5 years that primarily what has happened that as far as they are always short of working capital. So here the other model could have been that basically government could form an SPV, special purpose vehicle, and the special purpose vehicle can take stake in these SMEs and pump in equity. See, pumping equity is always a far better option rather than giving any loans, because in loans what will happen, that will create a financial leverage and plus a burden on the smaller companies who anyways find it difficult to repay the loan. So this is something which we have to basically keep it in mind. So as far as SMEs are concerned, this is something very vital. They have to be given liquidity, working capital, and that too in the form of equity capital. That will be more beneficial rather than basically paying a loan to them. That's one. Yes.
Next question.
Yeah. Should I move ahead?
Yes,
Please.
yes.
Yeah.
There is one question from Kritika madam. Why don't we follow the policy of income contingent loans instead of time-based loans? Most developed countries like America, Australia, etc. are already following this, and others like Colombia are working on this. Sir.
Basically, what happens is that in those economies there are more structured jobs. The economy is more organized, so you can basically predict the income of a person. In a country like India, where we have 63 crore laborers, 49% of the population dependent on agriculture for their income, and agriculture itself is seasonal. So how do you do that? It becomes very challenging. See, how can you ascertain income of a person? For example, there are auto rickshaw drivers. Now, for the last 2 months, if you take my home state of Gujarat, auto rickshaws have been off the road. Now, how will that person earn? Who, anyways, the monthly daily income is around 200 to 300 rupees max. So basically, the problem is our structure is basically unstructured since last 70 years. It's unfortunate, but because of that, today we are facing all these problems. So that is why one of the questions which I saw is that how what should be done about migrant laborers and workers. So if I just link these two things, see, basically what we need to do is that there has to be a national labor institute which gives an employment letter to all laborers irrespective of their sector. Whether he is in construction sector, in gems and jewelry, in textile, in diamond, he gets a proper appointment letter. He's basically daily, his minimum salary is fixed. So for example, the salary starts from 12,000 rupees a month. So that is the minimum which the company has to pay him. Above that, the company may pay him what he is comfortable with, what they are capable and he is comfortable with. So this will ensure that there is a predictable source of income with people, and if there is a predictable source of income, even we can judge that what will be the demand and consumption of that entire segment in the future. Right now, what happens? The income itself is uncertain; it is highly volatile. Then how do you basically judge that? That is what the problem banks are facing right now. See, if you see now this moratorium period, which has been extended till August 31st, the biggest risk it has created is that banks will come to know about its asset quality and balance sheet now only in March 2021, which earlier they were to come to know by September 2020. So if banks are not in a position to ascertain their asset quality only, what kind of provisioning they will do, and if they keep more of provisioning, obviously the net profit will come down. So it's a vicious cycle. So that is why we need to create more structured jobs rather than these piecemeal basis activities what we have been doing for last 70 years.
Yes. How
Yes.
many questions can we take more, madam?
Aditya sir, can you take some more questions?
Yes, yes. 3 to 4 questions we can quickly take up.
Yeah. So Aditya sir, there are questions on what kind of measures the government should adopt to boost Indian economy, and how much time it will take to stable our Indian economy.
See, basically, please understand one thing, that as far as one question I'm reading is how do government help the jobless in this scenario? Yes, so I'll club all these things. So that will
Yeah,
answer
yeah.
all these questions.
Hmm.
See, basically, if I go point wise, see, number one, what government needs to do? Number one, totally remove 28% GST. Just remove that. Bring all the goods which are in 28% to 18%. So that will spur up demand in the automobile sector because this is the long-standing demand of the auto sector. Second, basically, those who have lost their job, all the companies, private companies, should be given a direct order from the Ministry of Home Affairs that they have to recruit all these employees back and pay them full salary. It is very disheartening to see, friends, that when companies are earning crores of profit, that time they are not bothered. But if they cannot sustain the employees, the jobless people, for 2 to 3 months or for 6 months, then there is no point in allowing these companies to earn so much of profit. See, this may sound socialistic and slightly from a labor view, but it is very important in a country like India that we need to have basically this thing. For those who pass out, employment for freshers, that is again a huge challenge. See, every year if we have 1.5 crore students who pass out and who join the labor market, so how do you create jobs for them? See, all the companies which are registered, the SMEs, they are given loans, and loans in the form of loans or say equity infusion, so that they can expand. They should be given working capital. They should be given equity capital rather than loan capital. So when they expand, automatically jobs will get created for the freshers also who pass out. Second, a small things like, see, basically in the mutual fund industry, if we can introduce 1% entry load, see, if mutual funds are giving yearly 12 to 15% return, what is wrong in charging 1% entry load? This will ensure, see why I'm advocating that, this will ensure that large number of people or the freshers can basically go towards mutual fund distribution as an entrepreneurship option. Post 2009, the number of distributors in India were 2 crores, mutual fund distributors. But because the entry load was removed, that figure drastically came down because their income stopped. See, we need to create things which create small time entrepreneurs also, and at the same time, we create jobs also. For example, if there is an MBA college, or if I take Mahatma Gandhi, our own college, see, there are 60 students. We take a simple example. There are 60 students. If they go out and try to search a job, they are 60 job seekers. But if these 60 students are given training and are made to take a franchisee of a broking house, so the moment you open a small office of what we can say sub brokership, if they open a financial markets, each one of them will create 3 jobs. They will require a few, they will require a marketing person, and they will require a back office person. So if 60 people open a franchisee, they are creating 180 jobs. So see the difference. Where there are 60 job seekers, now there are 180 creators. So if we understand in this way, then only we will be able to solve this problem of India. We have to understand one thing, friend, that we have a benefit of demographic dividend. But if that demographic dividend doesn't have income opportunities or entrepreneurship opportunities, this demographic dividend will become our biggest liability. And that will also create socio-economic and as well as law and order problem for the entire nation. So if this is addressed, that is job creation and entrepreneurship issue is addressed, other things will automatically fall in place. Clear?
Yeah.
Can we go ahead? Yes.
Yeah. The another question is from Ms. Anita Selvaraj. In spite of all these defaults and mistake by private sector companies, government policy is supporting privatization. Even India, she has given the example of Indian Airlines, and railways are going to be changed or converted into private sector companies. It is dangerous for common people of India. Social welfare measure will not be given to Indians anymore. So your view on this?
See, yes, to an extent you are correct. See, privatization is not the solution for every problem. We have seen that in case of private companies also like Kingfisher, they took huge loans from the bank. That was your and hard taxpayers' money. Ultimately, the company ran away. And today, that entire 7,000 crore, which has now become 10,000 crore due to interest and default payment, is ultimately hard taxpayers' money which has gone into drain. Jet Airways took a loan of 8,400 crore. Today, the company is not operating. It was the largest private sector airlines of India. So basically, it's a fact that privatization is not solution for everything. Rather, we should not have privatized many things. For example, even Air India. See, Air India can be run very profitably if the management is proper and disciplined way it has been run. But if we try to sell everything and privatize it, ultimately what will happen? Private sector will rule this country and profit will be the center objective. When profit becomes the center objective, the benefit of common man and the lower section will automatically go out of window, because private sector will only see how his profit are being made. So here rather the need of the hour is that we should have a balanced approach where we should develop public sector units also and try to see that these units are made to work efficiently. See, if they work efficiently, there is no need to privatize them. Clear. So that will also ensure that less scams happen in the private sector, and people's hard-earned money are not wasted in the form of NPAs with the banks.
May I?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, sir, I think you have answered the questions like questions on migrant workers, then freshers and NP problems also. So, I think we can move ahead, madam.
Yes. Shukla sir, any questions with you?
No, madam.
Ma'am, here I can, in the chat box, I can just see two questions and quickly take. Current government is permitting FDI in every sector.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it better for Atmanirbhar Bharat? See, no, even I don't agree with that. Permitting FDI, especially in sensitive sectors like defense, where you are allowing private companies to make defense equipment, can counter fire also. At the same time, if you see, even right now, there are in Paytm, if we take a simple example, in Paytm, 25% is held by Alibaba, which is the largest company of China. In Zoom also, there are questions being raised that this data may probably go to China. So obviously, opening FDI in every sector may not help us. Rather, if we can create an Atmanirbhar Bharat, but in true sense, we have to create quality products. If we don't do that, then compulsorily we need to get foreign capital. For example, when I was a child, I used to see Crown TV, Salora TV, Onida. Today, where are those companies? Everybody shut down because they couldn't maintain quality. We had Indian mobiles manufacturing like Intex, Lava. Today, again, those companies shut down because they could not compete with Samsung and basically iPhone. So we have to create quality. Then yes, we will be able to manufacture everything here, and that will make India really what we can say is Atmanirbhar Bharat and other things, self-reliance we can achieve. Second, especially Manrega. See, Manrega can be a solution to the in order to reverse, in order for the migrant workers also, and when they come back also. See, we have to ensure that what the government has said, that one nation, one ration card, and this employment guarantee scheme should be universally applicable pan India, so that even if a worker, if a migrant labor goes from one state to another state, he is able to basically get job and earn his daily wages, so that he can survive it. Third question was direct cash transfer. Yes. See, basically, please understand that direct cash transfer is rather the need of the hour. What I feel that lot of bank accounts are linked, rather every bank account is linked with Aadhaar card. So government has complete data of all those people who are basically that whose bank account is linked with Aadhaar card and what is his source of income, that can be easily tracked. So all these migrant laborers can be given a direct cash transfer of say 1 lakh rupee. See, today in Pradhan Mantri's Care Fund, that is this Care Fund which has been opened, even the retail people contributed more than 200 crore rupees, and some 4,000 crore has come from corporates. Now, if I see it in this way, that India has around 30 crore families, 30 crore families are there. Assuming that 4 people in one family, so 30 into 4, 120 crore people. Correct. So each family can be transferred easily 1 crore rupees. Then also your expenditure is only 30 crores, whereas that fund has more than 200 crores just coming from the retail people. So money, trust me, friends, is not a question. Yes, man. Actually, I have given this suggestion that each family can be given 1 crore. Boss, see, when you are collecting money, so why don't you directly give it to the people? Now, he will spend where he wants, rather than you giving him 100 options to take a loan. Trust me, in this scenario, nobody will go and take a loan. That whole concept is wrong. See, when my job is in doubt, when my job security is not there, why would I go and take a loan? And especially that too with the labor class. So what I feel now, that resources are never an issue in India. The issue is with intent and with implementation. Sorry to say that. So now can we wind up, ma'am?
Srinivas, I have one question.
Sure.
It's not more of a question, it's observation.
Sure, ma'am.
See, all these migrant laborers who are sent away now, and with the demand of kick-starting the economy now. What will happen when there are no migrant laborers
Exactly.
to start the economy?
Exactly.
We have hit our own foot, I think, in some way.
Yes.
Because that will now be a different kind of problem, because the problem will become more serious with different reasons.
Yes, ma'am.
Even yesterday, some trains returning to Varanasi, I think there were 2 dead bodies found when the train reached Varanasi. So, as you rightly said, these migrant laborers are not going to come back for some time now. So, now back to another kind of a problem developed by us, and kickstarting the economy is going to become a major challenge. You
Yes,
also
correct.
said, sir, that countries like US, Europe, Japan, China, they have a different kind of problem. In fact, yesterday when I was watching BBC World News, there are long queues of people coming in very big cars, Toyotas and the Benz, but all waiting to collect food packages
See, yes.
which are being provided by the government. So this is the case. People are not getting paychecks, but then their needs are taken care of.
Correct, ma'am. See, so we, yes, ma'am.
And what you said finally, that you want about 100 crore people, teach 30 crore families, 100 crore to 20 people, just 30 crores into the direct bank accounts of each family in India will solve the problem. But unfortunately, sir, along with 130 crore people and 50% of them not employed or jobless, uneducated, we also have politicians with their personal agenda who are running their country. So how can we
Ma'am,
address the
actually,
third problem that is worse than the coronavirus now?
ma'am, actually, the main problem is that the third one, that is the biggest problem of our economy. Otherwise, trust me, ma'am, okay, resources are not an issue. It's the issue is with intent and implementation. That is
Yeah,
the
so,
problem.
so thinkers like yourself and policymakers have to see eye to eye. And
Yes.
if that is not done, the implementation not done, the final result will not work out. So
Uh,
we have to reach all these voices and thoughts to the
Correct.
people who are doing some work there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I agree with you, ma'am.
You're yes.
Ma'am, lastly, I am reading 2-3 points that people are telling that what investment in stock market. So just wanted to announce that tomorrow's session, friends, I am going to cover this part only, that asset allocation or investment in these challenging times. So basically in these times, how can you invest, what can you invest, and what are the various options available? So that will take up in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow also, ma'am, we have the same schedule, right, ma'am?
Yes, we will start early, so you will get more time because our initial
Sure, sure.
will not be there.
Fine, sure. So tomorrow 11 o'clock we'll address this.
We will start.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I think I will call Lata madam to give the concluding remarks for today. Eknath sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Lata ma'am. Please.
Yes. A very good afternoon to all the members present here. It is my proud privilege to summarize the takeaways that we have from today's session. Thank you, Aditya Srinivas sir, for doing justice to all the questions that we had in our head. Your session was full of data and statistics, and you were able to validate each of the points that you were putting across with data, and that was extremely interesting. And you gave us facts about COVID and also answered about what the future is going to be for us. I would summarize by saying that you have a very optimistic note, particularly pertaining to India, because you started off by telling us that the International Monetary Fund has made an estimate or a guesstimate that India is going to do much better than the rest of the countries, and GDP is going to be 1.9 vis-a-vis 1 of the world average. So that was a very big takeaway for us. And you also compared India with the other countries, with the how we faced the challenges of the economic crisis. You talked about the big countries, USA, China, Japan, Europe, and that they were the leaders who brought in the economic crisis in 2008, 2011, 2015, and again now China in 2019-20. but you gave us statistics saying that India is a resilient country and we have fared much better than the other countries. You gave us a lot of interesting facts about the pandemic. The one most important fact is that all of 2020 is going to be, we are going to be down with this pandemic. And until the vaccine is released, we are not going to be fully out of this problem. Then you went on to talk about the demographic dividend of India. There was a plus and a minus. We have an advantage of age, and we are much more a stronger age group of people than the other big countries. So we can fight this out. And you also talked about the challenges of the labor class. We talk about the migrant labor, and you gave us a very big figure. The figure that you mentioned was 63 crore labor. And this is our huge challenge. And you talked about our biggest challenge being the 137 crore people, and that too, we are not very highly educated. So we have our own challenges and problems in fighting this pandemic, even though we have age and on our side in our Indian demographic dividend. The interesting things you put across were the packages that the government offered. And you very rightly said that relief was given to almost all sectors, the farmers, the migrant labor, the SMEs, but nothing to salary class. That also made us very sad, because we have been very honest in paying our taxes and contributing. And I feel the government has to think about us, because we are the ones who are really worried about our future, whether we will get a salary. And if a company like Reliance is going to cut pay package by 50%, we don't know what will happen to us. And very interesting things that you put across regarding this COVID-19 crisis is that companies must take on the responsibility of supporting employees for a period of at least 3 to 6 months, because we have been working very hard for the company. And when company makes huge profits, obviously we would still continue to get our own salary packs. And they then have the responsibility of supporting the employees for at least a period of 6 months. So friends, let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope not to have pay cuts. So, and sir has answered numerous questions, which were extremely interesting. He spoke about employment as a huge issue. And he also spoke about the various mistakes the government has made. The biggest mistake is not putting in cash in the accounts of people. Now, Janadhan account, if the money was sent directly there, then the people would be able to spend. And once they had the money and they would spend, it would be the spark to kickstart the economy. So unless you have cash and we don't spend, I think we will not be able to roll our economy. And the mood of the people obviously is very tentative. Even if you give us less interest rates, we are not going to take those loans because we are not sure about our jobs. Sir, you have actually touched the, we say ना, दुखते रग पर आपने हाथ रख दिया है. ऐसा ही हमें एक feeling हुआ है कि जो आपने एक positive, you have given us an impression that India will fight back, but you have showed us the mirror. You have showed us what is our state. You have given us all the facts, and thank you for the fantastic data that you have been able to capsule into this. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
And we look forward to your session tomorrow.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.